Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Roll and Move Reviews. My name's Kirk, I'm your host. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. I am really excited to discuss the game we're going to talk about today. It's one that's been out for a while and getting a lot of hype. I just haven't had a chance to play it. Finally did, and that is Dead of Winter from Plaid Games. Like I said, tons of hype surrounding this game. It just won the Origins People's Choice Game of the Year, I believe, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more where that came from. So there's really no more hype I can add to this game, but let's take a look and see if it lives up to it. This is what your play area looks like. You have your colony up top. That's where your players live. That's what you're trying to survive, the area you're trying to defend, and where you take most of your actions related to the group survival. Down at the bottom, you have different locations that you can move to and explore. There are actually 6 in the game for the purposes of framing. I'm only showing 3. But you basically do the same thing in each location, so the 3 will definitely suffice us here. After you set the board up, each player will take the group of survivor characters that they're going to control in the game. You randomly draw 4 cards, and you pick 2 of those to keep in your group to start. So say one of the guys I pick is Thomas Hart. I take his corresponding stand-up, and I add that to the board. And there's a lot of these stand-ups here. You see all the survivors you come with the game. This is each one of these is a character that comes with a corresponding standee. So there's a nice big pile of them, of those stand-ups. Throughout the game, your group will most likely grow. You'll get more survivors that you can use your group, but you're also going to get what are called helpless survivors. These little markers here. These are kids and elderly and sick people who really can't do anything to help your group, but they're still going to attract zombies and eat up resources and basically do all the bad stuff survivors do without any of the helpful stuff. Once everybody has their characters selected, the group will get an objective for the entire team. This is something that everyone is trying to accomplish besides basic survival. If you think of one game of Dead of Winter as a season of a TV show, then your objective is your overall story arc for that season. So you select your objective, you set it on the board. That not only tells you what you have to do to win, but it also tells you how many rounds you have and where your morale starts at. If you ever have your rounds drop to 0 or your morale drop to 0, you lose. The other thing the objective tells you is how many zombies to place at the beginning of the game. And you see these little biohazard symbols. Those are all places these zombies can potentially be placed. And again, you see these little zombie minis. You get a ton of these too, along with the survivors. Not only does the entire group get an objective, but also each individual player, or each individual group of survivors will have their own secret objective. Most of these are helpful to the group and help for survival, but there are also some betrayal cards. And if you get one of these, you're the secret traitor, you're working against the group, trying to make them fail whatever their goal is. A game round will begin by flipping one of these crisis cards. And again, if you think of the game as a season of a TV show, the crisis cards are a maybe 1 or 2 episode story arc that the characters have to survive. This one in particular is an illness. There's been some kind of outbreak. We have to collect medicine equal to the number of players who haven't been kicked out yet. So in this case, say it's a 4-player game, we have to get 4 medicine cards before the end of the round. So each player can take a look at the cards they have and say, okay, yeah, I have medicine. Put that face down there. Yeah, I have medicine too. I'll put that down. But the problem is the trader can say, oh yeah, I have medicine. I'll put that in there. And he can throw everybody off, and you'll kind of have an idea, okay, somebody who threw in is the trader, but we don't know exactly who. Once we've determined a crisis at the beginning of each player's turn, they're going to get a crossroads card. Another player is going to flip it, and if you can see there, there's an italicized trigger sentence. That's just if that takes effect, you know, maybe a character they control, maybe a location they're at. But if that triggers, then they read the player that story, and they get option 1 or option 2. Usually it's the lesser of 2 evils. Something bad's going to happen. Which one do you want to pick? At this point in the game, you're going to roll your action dice. You get 1 plus each character you control, so at the beginning of the game you'll get 3. You roll those, and those are the dice and the numbers you have to use throughout your turn. You look at your character cards, you see their main 2 actions are fight, the little burst, and the magnifying glass is search. So Thomas Hart here, for example, he can use a 1 or higher to fight, and he can use a 3 or higher to search. So those are 2 main actions, and also each character has their own special ability. A lot of those use dice as well. But at this point you can decide to move. to a location outside the colony. And anytime you move, you're exposing yourself not only to zombies, but to other kinds of injuries and dangers and sickness based on the cold and the winter as well. So whenever you move or fight, you're going to roll this exposure die, this 12-sided die. And it's 6 spaces are blank, so if you roll those, you're safe. If you roll one of these little teardrop skulls, that's a wound. That just means you got hurt in some way during your travels or during your fight. And if you did that, you just take a wound. If you get one of these little snowflake skulls, that's kind of like an exposure wound, frostbite, or maybe you got sick or something. But if you get that, that's a little worse because that's going to continue each turn. You'll get another one. And if you take 3 of any kind of wound, you die. The worst thing that can happen to you, though, is a bite. There's only one of these on the die. But if you get that, you're automatically killed by a zombie. At this point, you've got an interesting decision to make because anyone at your location, the next person has to decide, okay, I can just let this guy die, or I can roll. And if he rolls any symbol, then the infection continues to spread. And the next guy has to decide, am I going to roll or just die? So you can really quickly spread that zombie plague through the entire location or through the entire colony pretty quickly. So once you're down at these locations, you can choose to either fight a zombie. If you fight a zombie, it's not okay, you just take them off the board, but you do got to roll the die. Or you can search for these cards, and these are just more useful things like food and medicine and weapons and tools and other survivors that you're going to find and that are going to help the group, hopefully, and help you achieve your mission. The other thing you got to worry about is feeding your colony. So at any time during your turn, you can take some food and set it down on the board and add some food canisters to the food supply. Every 2 survivors in the colony at the end of the round are going to eat 1 can of food. If you don't have enough food to feed everybody, you're going to start losing morale. You got to watch out though, because this is the waste pile here, and as you use this stuff, junk's piling up and things are getting messy. You might put medicine in there when you use that to heal somebody, fuel if you use that for different reasons. If at the end of the round you have 10 or more cards in the waste pile, things are just getting gross and people are getting sick, so you lose morale that way as well. And you can, as an action, use one of your dice to clean up the waste pile and negate that effect. At the end of the round, you'll play zombies, and basically every 2 survivors of the location attract 1 zombie, so you start filling these spaces up. And these zombies will only ever attack if you completely fill up a space where they go and you can't place anymore. So let's say I fill up this spot right here and I have to place another zombie. They're going to auto-kill a character at that location. Who are they going to kill? Whoever has the lowest influence number, and that's that number up there. Your influence basically represents how crucial character you are to the story, how much of a main character you are, and obviously the higher the influence, the better. So someone like Carla Thompson, she might not last that long, but Gabriel Diaz and Thomas Hart, they're going to be around a while. At the very end of the round, you'll check to see if your round tracker or your morale tracker has hit 0. If they have, all players lose except the traitor if he has completed his secret objective. Then you'll check to see if the colony objective is complete. If it is, all non-traitor players who have completed their objective win the game. If none of those conditions are met, you continue playing the game until one of them are. Alright guys, that is Dead of Winter. There you have it. I'm going to go on a limb right now, say something that I know probably isn't too popular in the board gaming world, and that is the fact that I am not sick of zombie games. There, I said it. I enjoy zombie games. I enjoy the zombie genre, novels, movies, books, whatever. I think it's a fun genre. There's a lot you can do with it. Dead of Winter is the zombie subgenre that we could probably call zombie drama, where the zombies aren't really the focus. They're more the catalyst of the story of why things are happening the way they are, but the story is more about the people. And I mean, for proof of that, just look at the game box. I mean, there's not one zombie on there. That's just all characters from the game. It's the people, and that's who this game's about. I mean, obviously, the most popular example of that kind of story is The Walking Dead, and this game pulls a lot of elements from that show and from the comic into the game. I like the components for the game. I like the fact that we got stand-ups instead of minis. I know a lot of people might have preferred minis, but for me, you're grabbing these, you're looking for specific people and player characters throughout the game as your group builds. So it's a lot easier to find these, I think, than it is to pull out the look through all the minis and try and find the one that matches the picture on the card. And for someone who doesn't have any talent for painting minis, these look better and have a lot more detail than any mini in my game is ever going to have. It's just always going to be a piece of plastic. So I'd much rather have these, and obviously it keeps the retail price down, so that's always a plus. The game is very hectic, very chaotic, but I like that. A lot of controlled chaos. You have your group objective, your bait objective, there may be a trader, you got the crisis going on, you have the crossroads cards, all these different things going on. So it's a very tense, hectic game. I like the fact the very simple die roll for combat and movement. Takes away, there's really no focus on fighting. It's just that one roll, you know, you want to move, you want to fight, you roll and you see what happens. Really simplifies that, keeps the game quick. I like that aspect of it. I really like the crossroad cards. They're fun. They add a lot to the game. They come into play, I'd say, maybe, just guess from what I've played, maybe 30 to 40% of the time, so it's not overwhelming, but they are pretty cool. My only issue with these is every once in a while the situation, your options are something bad happens or nothing happens. For example, the card may say, Bob left the colony, he ran away, and option one is to risk injury and death and use up a lot of resources to go find him, or option two is you let Bob go, nothing happens. And in real life, I hope I'd make a different decision, but in the game I say, you know what, Bob's not a real guy, he's somebody made up for this card, and I wouldn't win the game, so sorry Bob, you're out of luck. I hope that doesn't make me a terrible person, but for the most part, the cards don't do that. They give you two pretty interesting options you have to choose from. As far as the different objectives go, I really like how the game takes the trader element to the next level. Where in a lot of trader games, you say, okay, everybody but one guy is working for the exact same, working on the exact same mission. So it's real easy to pick out the guy who's, not real easy, but it's easier to pick out the guy who's working against everybody else. In this game, everybody has their own secret agenda, so if you do something that doesn't completely help the group, you may not be a trader, you're just working on your own little side mission. So that adds another layer to that, that trader element and makes it a lot more tense. If I have to nitpick it, I would say that there is a little bit of a flaw in the execution there, because first of all, the secret objectives, the non-betrayer secret objectives, most of them don't have to be secret because they're all helping the colony. You know, it's like, I want to get more food for the colony, or I want to better defend the colony. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm behind that. Let's do that together. Let's make that happen. There's no reason to keep that a secret. But because the fact that I can only win and you can only win if we do our own objectives, it may get to a situation where your objective's complete and mine isn't. So I got to find a way to extend the game. And if you want to win, you have to find a way to maybe take me out. Even though our objectives are to help each other, you know, I'm in your way of winning the game, you know, because I'm expanding the game and maybe potentially losing it for us. Another thing that might happen is a player who's not a trader may get so far behind in his objective when everybody else is complete, and he may say, you know what, if I can't win, nobody wins. And he becomes a de facto trader, even though, again, he was supposed to be helping all of us. So it's, like I said, it's nitpicky, but for a storytelling game, some of those storytelling elements don't make complete sense. But other than that, I wish I had more bad to say about the game because so many good things have been said about it. But for better or for worse, most of it's true. Does it live up to the hype? It's hard to say because there's so much of it. You know, if I came in expecting a 10, I got at least an 8.5 or a 9. So it's a very solid game, very fun game. I'm going to recommend it if you have a group. Like I said, if your group's burned out on zombie games, this is a game you can take to them and play and say, hey, you know, you can teach it, be halfway through teach it before you even talk about zombies. That's how little of a part they actually play in the game. If your group can handle that tension of the trader, you know, if you can be backstabbing the whole time and have somebody, oh, guess what, guys, I completely screwed you all over, and everybody still be friends at the end of the night, then yeah, play this game. If not, you probably know to avoid these games anyway. But for the most part, great game, fun game. Like I said, everything you've heard about it probably is true. Dead of Winter, check it out. Okay guys, that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the first game I got to review in a while with Origins and a few other things that were going on. I just really haven't had a chance to record lately. I'm really hoping to make up for that over the next couple weeks, so I'll be looking for a lot of videos coming out. I've got some fun new segments planned, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, if you're interested in picking up Dead of Winter or any other game, check out alteregogames.net. They're going to give you a great deal on whatever you're looking for. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube like us on Facebook, and if you want to email me directly, you can get me at rollandmovereviews@gmail.com. That's it, guys. Until next time, have fun out there.